Okay, welcome everybody. But I was thinking on trying to remember the name. I always Habit Energy. On Habit Energy, I looked at Thich Nhat Hanh because Thich Nhat Hanh was my first run into where I first ran into Habit Energy. And so I was thinking of the second principle he has. The first one was is that it's very powerful. Habit energy is powerful. It's hard to overcome. That's why a lot of people say, I'm not going to do this habit energy anymore, and they do it anyway. So it's so powerful, it can even supersede our will without tools and practice. And the second one is it can be unconscious. We may not even be aware of it. Um, so my favorite story with unconscious is my food disorder. And I haven't done this for a long, long time. So I've grown much in my relationship with food. But there were times like maybe I'm in my car and I decide I need a snack. So I go through the drive through and I get myself a Papa Joe. That's from a hamburger place here called Zips. And I'll be driving down the road and I'll think, well, I'm going to take another bite. And I will look and there will be a wrapper, but no Papa Joe there. And my response would be, who ate my Papa Joe? Well, I'm the only person in the car, right? and then I'll be like upset that my Papa Joe's gone. I didn't enjoy my Papa Joe, right? And then I'll realize I've driven 3 miles past where I was supposed to be. And I'll be, when did I do that? Oh, yeah, I think I'm going to work and I'm driving to work and it's not even a work day. I would just get totally in the habit, the unconscious habit of doing things addictively and habitually. And these things have really happened and more minor. I don't know how many times I'll drive to where I want to go. Maybe I need to go to Home Depot and I'll get to Home Depot. I'll get out of my car and I'll not be able to recall the whole entire trip it took to get there. I try to think and nothing comes up. It's like I was a zombie behind the wheel. Um, I'd say we should all be afraid of that, but I think there's a lot of zombies out there and thank God zombies can drive a little because we'd be in a lot of trouble if they could not drive. But I was able to. Um, when I was looking at the unconsciousness, I was thinking of seed consciousness. It's another thing that Thich Nhat Hanh talks about. All the things I feed into my seed consciousness. So maybe I'll be saying I really want to do well at my job, right? I really want to be understanding towards my kids with trauma. So I've read books on that. I've been to trainings on that. I've done a lot of reflection and a kind of thinking meditation on that. But there's other crap in my seed consciousness. Some of it may be watching like Dirty Harry movies and my concept of how I'm supposed to behave as a male, go ahead, make my day. And I would say that's a joke, but a few times I've thought that in the classroom, go ahead, make my day. And I'm like, who am I? Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan made that quote. And no, it's just in the seed consciousness and seed consciousness on how I've been treated and on my ideas on what fairness is. And I have ideas that I can't let people better me, so I have to do better than them. They're all floating around in there. And that's why every time I work with my kids who are very tough kids to work with, they remind me of the suffering that exists unconsciously inside of me. And they remind me of my training and the enlightenment that exists inside of me too, the awareness. Um, for me, I find it's important for me to the best of my ability to be grounded. Um, I've even found myself when I could feel the tension going up in an environment I'm in, and I want to be skillful, just even humming a little, like just it keeps me calm. It keeps me in the present. It gives me something to focus on, and I can be there and take time to recognize. One of the great things that came from recovery in 12 steps is HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Most people add bored to that list. And those are things that can be there. So I'm like, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Am I bored? Any of those things can affect my behavior in that moment and make it so I'm more reactive and less present, acting out of my seed consciousness without being present, without being aware. The other thing I remind myself is when I practice, I prepare myself to be the human being I want to be, the best human being I can be when I practice. So when I chant, when I meditate, I consider writing and drawing part of my practice. So when I create things, when I participate in creative and spiritual activities, I prepare myself to be a skillful human being in more circumstances. Another thing I get myself is active listening. Um, I'm one of those who can easily participate in a conversation and be more concerned about what I want to contribute. When I have practiced active listening, um, I really try to repeat what's being said in my head if it's a very important conversation, like a share at a meeting, especially shares in meetings, and also seek to be curious and understand and realize the person has good intention. So if something's said that I don't agree with, um, when my seed consciousness does kick in and makes me in that knee jerk space, I can go, even if I disagree, and even if this person is wrong, I can recognize the intention they have. And if it turns out they have a bad intention, I can recognize that. But many times people say things with good intentions. And sometimes I'm just wrong. So I just try to be curious and understand. Um, and it's hard. I have to remind myself. I still find that today after work, when people were talking, quick example, I needed to remind myself I didn't have to say anything, that they could just keep talking because I wanted to talk and there was no spaces. And I'm like, well, this is just creating anxiety for me. I just will choose to listen and laugh and enjoy the conversation. And if there's space, contribute if, I have anything to add. Self-care helps me in these situations. Make sure I have enough sleep, make sure I've had enough food, make sure I'm hydrated, make sure I've done my spiritual practices, make sure I hear myself. So if I hear myself like I'm getting annoyed or I'm getting angry, that I take the time to work with myself and deal with myself and be curious with myself and my good intentions, and to be practice and the and to be present, to practice presence and to cultivate presence so I can be there, I can be here, I can be here now. And it brings me back to eating. One of my most successful abstinences did not involve me counting calories or following any plan. And it was incredibly hard. And it was called mindful eating, um, where I would not eat with a TV or any media to distract me, where I would slowly eat, where I would pay attention if I was still hungry. And if I discovered I still was not hungry, that I would stop eating, which is a sin. Those of us who are alcoholics also know, you'd see people leave half a beer, and I always, felt the duty to finish that beer for them. And it's the same for food with me, to sit there and leave, half my French fries. And sometimes I eat those. Uh is not an easy thing for me to do. My desire is to eat everything that's in front of me. And that's what made it difficult to constantly stop and ask myself, okay, what am I tasting? What am I doing? Because addictively, when I addictively eat, I want to disappear and I want to eat mindlessly. That's addictive emotional eating for me. And to be aware does not feel as self if self-soothing as if I addictively eat. It's very hard. It's so hard. I stopped doing it, and I want to do it again. I would just remember as a mindful eater, as someone who was not eating habitually and making it um, a habit behavior. I made my meals an event. I slowed down. I paid attention to all my senses, what my food looked like, what it sounded like, what it smelled like, what it tasted like. I enjoyed the world around me, whether it be conversation or it just be, what's going on in the dining room. I practiced discernment. I had asked myself, am I still hungry? Does this food still taste good? Do I really still need more food? And again, for me as a compulsive eater, that is a hard thing to work with. And it was really good for me. It's kind of like advanced mindfulness for me to partake of my addictive substance. And as a process addiction, getting to partake of my addictive substance, but also trying to keep that lion halfway in the cage. It is a blessing more than it's a curse, but it sure feels like a curse sometimes. I want to do what I normally do, which is chant and then have some silent meditation. And I feel really led to do Om Mani Padme Hum, blessed is the heart of the lotus, knowing that all of these habit energies contained within me can be the mud for practice and can be the mud for enlightenment, and that can make them a good thing. I think where they make beautiful things. So you can follow along in your mind. You can follow along by chanting with me. You can just enjoy being present and ignore it. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. Just enjoy a moment of following breath or whatever you can focus on. Enjoy the presence. May all places be held sacred. May all beings be cherished. May all injustices of oppression, devaluation, and theft be fully righted, remedied, and healed. May all wounds to forest, rivers, deserts, oceans, all wounds to Mother Earth be lovingly restored in bountiful health. May all beings everywhere delight in whale song, bird song, and blue sky. May all beings abide in peace and well-being, awaken and be free. Namaste.
Namaste.